Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Don't Judge a Book. My name is Maddie if you're new here, and I'm so glad to see you guys here. This is a reading vlog, number 2 on this channel, and it also is the first reading vlog for the Binging Bridgerton series. I will put some of the hosts below with their videos and how you can join the Discord group if you are interested in reading along with us. I'll go ahead and talk about this book first. So today is Tuesday, so I am starting this vlog a little bit late, but I'm going to wrap up what I've read over the weekend and on Monday. But so the Bridgerton series, the first one is The Duke and I right here, and we are reading a book a week of the series. I believe there's 8, maybe 9, until the release of the Netflix show on December 25th. And so I am right now on page 64. And I love Julia Quinn's writing. This is my first book by her, and I love her writing. Now, we are 64 pages into it, and it's a little info dumpy, but I am listening along with an audiobook, so it makes it a little bit easier to read. I might wing myself off the audiobook once it gets into it, but usually with historicals for me, I like to listen to the audiobook while I read it, because sometimes they can be very info dumpy, and so that audio kind of keeps it interesting for me. So I don't know if I'll listen to the audio the whole time, but for right now I am, and so but I'll keep y'all updated about this. Now, I wanted to go ahead and wrap up where I left off from last week's vlog, and I was reading Halfway to the Grave by Jeannine Frost, and I finished this one on Saturday, and I just was not in a place where I could film, so I decided I would save all the books that I've read this weekend and do it today, and then we'll start our daily vlogs later on in the video. But Halfway to the Grave was my first 6-star book in 2020. Now it is November whatever today, and this is my first 6-star read of the year. Now I've had a lot of 5 stars, a lot of almost 6, like the Bargainer series was really close to me to be a 6, but it had some things in it that I was like, maybe not, still a 5. This one, last time I left off with you guys, I was on page 50 and I was already hooked and recommending this book, and I finished it and it was so good. Bones is my new favorite book character, and I love Cat so much. It reminds me of the old Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but better. It's so good. I cannot recommend this book enough, and I thought I was going to be kind of like on a tired of paranormal after I finished this book, because we got off on a paranormal readathon, and that was only paranormal, so I wanted to change of pace. I was glad to start the Bridgerton series and get into some historicals or maybe some fantasy or something, but I was hooked after this book and cannot get enough of this book. So after I read this one, I immediately picked up One Foot in the Grave, and this was a 5-star. Not as good as the first one. The first one, I think I just wasn't expecting it to be so good, so that's why it was a 6-star for me. But this one was 5 stars. Can't recommend the series enough. So let's talk about what they are. So in this one, we meet Kat, and she is half vampire, half human, and her job is to kill vampires. And so she doesn't call herself a vampire. It just so happens her dad was one, and her mom was human, and her mom doesn't like vampires because of her dad, and so she's basically been raised to hate them as well, and she basically hates that side of herself too. And one thing about vampires in this book is that their eyes glow green when they're hungry, or like when their vampire powers are out. And so she has that ability, but she has a heartbeat, she has blood, all this, but she doesn't have the hunger of a vampire or anything. And so in her mind, it's good versus evil, and that's who she's fighting. Well, the way she does it is she goes to clubs and hangouts where vampires are, and she lures them out and starts talking to them, and then when they don't expect it, she kills them. And in this book, in this series, the only thing that can kill a vampire is silver and nothing else. So she's been having to learn about that because she wasn't raised on what killed them, just that she was raised that they were evil. And so it's in the beginning, it's how she learned all that in her past. And it wasn't info dumpy by any means. It was really good. The author did an excellent job telling us her background and her family's background without missing a beat in the actual plot, which was amazing for a paranormal book. So I was really, really, really happy that the author decided to do that. So she then goes to a club and she starts talking to a vampire and he leaves. Well, then she can like sense the power of a vampire. So if they're really powerful, she gets like tingles about it. So she has that ability as well. And so that's what makes her such a good assassin. And so she gets this and she's like, it has to be a master vampire. And so she goes after this guy and like starts to talk to him and tries to get him to leave. And he's like, maybe later. And he leaves. And so she freaks out about it and was like, oh no, I let one go. Well, she ends up catching up with the guy that she first talked to that left before she talked to the other guy, which I'm not saying any names right now because I don't want to spoil anything, but it is part of the plot, but that I want to tell you all about. But so she ends up killing that vampire at a park, and the whole time the vampire that got away from her is watching her, and she doesn't know this. And so she the next night goes to the same place hoping that she can lure and capture the vampire that got away, and she's beating herself up over it and saying that her mom will never forgive her and that humanity will suffer if she doesn't catch this master vampire. Well, he's waiting for her, and they go on a drive together, and usually she wants her victims to drive so she can protect herself, but he's smart and he's actually a bounty hunter, Bones. So this is where she meets our hero. And he tries to kill her as she tries to kill him, and he ends up capturing her, and they make a deal that they won't kill each other, but they will work together to kill bad vampires. So throughout this book, she's having to learn that half of herself is not evil. It's the person that makes you evil or good, not what you are, not what creature. So I really like that message. I really like Bones. I really like Cat, and there's not many side characters in this one, but I didn't really miss that as much because there was so much action and I really enjoyed that. But then in One Foot in the Grave, there is a cliffhanger in Halfway to the Grave that starts in this book, and this book is set 4 years after this one. And I'm not going to tell you what that cliffhanger is because I want y'all to read the book, but basically 4 years after, she has met a best friend, and her best friend is getting married, and that's where this book starts off. And she still kills vampires, but she does it in a different way, and she's working for someone else, I'll say that. And she is happy what she's doing, but she still misses somebody. And so, but her mom is with her, but her mom wants her to do a better job killing vampires, and her mom is still not accepting of the other half of her. And so she is also trying to figure out who her dad is in this book. And at the end of this book, she does find out who her dad is. And I'm not going to spoil who it is or anything, but I will say she does find out at the end of this book who her dad is, because then I also read on Sunday and finished yesterday is At Grave's Inn, and this is the third, and this starts off after she finds her dad in the last book. And there's also another cliffhanger in One Foot in the Grave that I won't spoil when I talk about this book, but this one their Bones and Kat's relationship changes in this book, and that is part of the cliffhanger in the next that you'll get to explore in this book. And this actually has a step back fog and Bones and Kat on it, which I was really happy to get. And she is learning she has more powers than she realized in this book. So this one is still not as good as the first one to me, just because the first one I think is always going to have a special place in my heart, because I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. But this one is probably the best out of what I've read so far, and this one had the most action. What I do love about all of these books is that every single one is about Kat and the people that she loves in her family, and Bones is in it. And but they're not episodes really, they're not episodic, but they are very, like, there's cliffhangers to the major plot that might get answered, and then another clue is given to a bigger plot. But there's a bad guy in each book that gets taken care of or captured, or finds out they're not really bad, or they kill them or something, gets taken care of by the book. So you have that whole like true crime novels where the series, it's like a different crime every time, but behind the scenes there's a bigger crime happening. That's what I really liked about these books, because sometimes with paranormal book series, they're really long and they're the same problem the whole time, or they're just about different people each time, like different couples, different narrators, different heroines, different heroes, but not this time. This is her life and all the bad people that she's capturing and killing. And there is another creature in this one that we have met, and we get to meet them in the second and third book, and those are ghouls. And they are basically vampires that they are humans that drink vampire blood before they die, and then vampire blood wakes them up. But instead of being a vampire, they're ghouls because they were already dead when they got turned, and they have a different appetite, which I'm not going to spoil that. It's not blood. So she's having to learn about that, and there are bad ghouls that she's in charge of capturing as well. Okay. So, you guys, I'm still on page 64 of The Duke and I, but I wanted to touch base real quick and talk about where I'm at. So, our heroine, Daphne, she is she's number 4 out of 8 siblings, and she's the eldest girl, and she grew up with 4 brothers, and she was really close to her brothers. She's what you might consider a tomboy. She grew up punching her brothers, grew up running around with them, and she's still really close to them. Well, her mom loves her children, but wants them to get married when they become marrying age. And so she is now marrying age, and she has been for 2 seasons now. That's what they call it. And her oldest brother, Anthony, so all the Bridgerton children, there's 8 of them, they all start with the letter of the alphabet. So it goes from A to H in the children. And so Anthony is the oldest, and his best friend, Simon, just came back in town. And so where we're at now is that they're all at a ball together, and Simon has just figured out that Daphne was in trouble with someone that wanted to marry her, but she said no, and so he stepped in to save her and found out that she was more capable to take care of herself than he thought. And so he is finally learning that this is his best friend's sister, and that's where we are. And I do believe it's their romance, because we follow both of their narratives, so I assume it'll be them 2 together. But this is the first one in the Bridgerton, and I'm enjoying it so far. It is really info dumpy. Like I said at the beginning, I am listening to the audiobook while I read along. If it goes more into the plot and gets more dialogue, if it goes into more dialogue, I probably will wing myself off the audio, but for right now, I need it to keep the information coming at me more interesting. So I will keep y'all updated. Okay, you guys, I just wanted to come on here real fast. I'm in the middle of getting ready, but I wanted to come on here and tell you guys that I finished The Duke and I gave it 3 stars. Without giving any spoilers, this is a fake dating trope, and several other tropes are in this, but I can't say them without giving away spoilers. But this was not a favorite of mine. There is a scene towards the end where I have a big problem with. It's, without giving too much away, Simon, in so many words, blames Daphne for his stutter after she does something that was not okay. And then, but I also feel like that the author focused really big on trying to introduce the Bridgertons to us, and we lost sight of Daphne and Simon in this book, and that it just didn't, it seems more like, I feel like this book should have been a novella instead of a full-blown novel, just because if it's an introduction, like, then I would have been okay with how quick she ended everything. But the build-up was great, and then all of a sudden, we skipped 2 weeks and they're in love. So I didn't really like that as much. And that's really all I can say about this book without giving too much of a spoiler. But I can't wait to get her brother's books because I really did enjoy her family dynamic. So, okay, you guys, sorry, my music is still going for this. But anyway, so I just wanted to come on here and tell y'all what I'm reading now, which is Destined for an Early Grave. I am on page 16 and really enjoying it so far. Taking a break from unpacking some stuff to lay on the couch with my puppy. This is Knox. He's asleep, but I'm really enjoying this one so far. So in this one, someone is trying to steal her dreams, and that's basically all we are now, so I'll keep y'all updated. I wanted to wrap up this video and also go over what I finished reading of Destined for an Early Grave. I gave this 5 stars, really loved it in the continuation of the series. We learn more about Kat's past and the truth about her mom and how Kat came in the world, and we get our answer halfway through the book about the cliffhanger from the last book, and I really liked it. There's not much to say about this one. It was still a 5-star read for me just because I love the characters, but there was a part in this book that made me cry my eyes out, that I was just screaming at the book, like, what's wrong with you people? Like, get your act together, let's go. And I might do, like, once I finish the whole series, I might do like a spoiler review for all her books, because she's mostly just wrote in this world. Jeannine Frost did, and so I might do those videos. I did go to Half Price Books, and I got Blaze of Memory by Nali Singh and Heart of the Sea by Nora Roberts. Sorry about my dog. There's nothing I can do about it. But those were the 2 books I got. I was really disappointed in Half Price Books. I know this is a very quick, unorganized into a vlog, but lots going on. I ended up having a weird allergic reaction to something, and so I've been on Benadryl every 4 hours. So I'm a little tired, and my skin's a little blotchy. That's why I'm kind of like out of breath too. Like, it was a bad allergic reaction, so I'm trying to get over that. So that's why the vlogs are not as long as I wanted it to be, but hopefully next week will be what we all need. So don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye!